Alright, let's do this A-level problem. 15 kilograms, weight equals mass times gravity. 15 kilograms times 9.8 meters per second squared. The phone is ringing. Alright, I'm back. 15 times 9.8 equals 147 newtons. That's what T3 equals, 147 newtons. Now, if you look at this, we have a T2x, we have a T1x, we have a T1y, and a T2y, kind of almost exactly. Alright, so the way this picture is drawn, I can just put the 37, I'll do it in black, I can put the 37 degrees here. I should have done this earlier, I apologize. 53 degrees here. And now I'm going to go back and say this is T2 cosine of 53. This is T1 cosine of 37. Sorry, I should have done this a second ago. Which means this is T2 sine of 53. And this is T1 sine of 37. Okay? I just labeled them T1, T2, just to kind of let you know what they were. Alright, now we can go to sum of the forces in the x direction equals 0. I have a negative T1 cosine of 37 plus a T2 cosine of 53. That is not a very good 3. And that equals 0. I think you guys have figured out by now I'm going to have to isolate. So T2 equals T1 times the cosine of 37 divided by the cosine of 53. Just for fun, I'm going to go to the sum of the forces in the y direction. Maybe that will get me somewhere. That equals 0. I have T1 sine of 37 plus T2 sine of 53, and it's negative 100, not 100, 147 newtons equals 0. At this point, I really don't have anything, so what I'm going to do is everywhere I see a T2, I'm going to replace it with this, because T2 equals T1. So here we go. T1 sine of 37 plus T1, this is the substitution now, cosine of 37 divided by the cosine of 53. Don't forget that sine of 53. I see a lot of students leaving that out. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the 147 to the other side just for fun. So T1 sine of 37 is 0.61 plus, now here's where it gets interesting, and I do it in steps. Cosine of 37 divided by cosine of 53. Now I have to multiply that by the sine of 53. I'm going to get T1 1.06, and that equals 147 newtons. Remember, these are really kind of 0.61 T1 plus 1.06 T1. It's kind of like 2x plus 3x. I don't know why I have to write it that way, but I do. So I just add 0.61 plus 1.06, and I get 1.67 T1 equals 147 newtons. How do you get T1 all by itself? Divide both sides by 1.67. And I get T1 equaling basically 88 newtons. Now, I'm going to bring this down over here because I'm kind of running out of room. T1 cosine of 37 divided by the cosine of 53. That equals T2. I know T1 is 88. Whoops. I have to multiply that by whatever the cosine of 37 over the cosine of 53 is. So I always do that first. I'm going to go cosine of 37 divided by the cosine of 53. So that number's sitting in my calculator of 1.32. I'm going to multiply that by 88, and I'm going to get 116.8 newtons, and that equals T2. And that's up here, 116.8. And we're done. Woo woo, woo woo.